everyone, and welcome back to the Sideline Eye podcast. We're beginning our club championship coverage, and we're looking ahead to the junior championship coming up this week. Of course, we know the draws for the junior, intermediate and senior, so we're looking forward to everything coming up over the next weeks and months. I'm delighted to be joined by Justin Kieran here, and we're going to look ahead to the junior championship, and we're in his gym in Portmore. It's the Everyday Performance Gym, and Justy, you own the gym, you've been using it quite a bit yourself now, you've been out injured for a while, so just tell us, how's your rehab coming along?
Going well. Obviously I have the luxury that I'm in the gym every day with work, so I have no excuse obviously to get my sessions in, so it's definitely stood to me that I've been able to get my rehab done every day under obviously the physio's guidance, so it's been going well. It's just sort of tricky when you're going down to training and watching and doing the preview as opposed to playing in the game, so but sure, small steps and definitely making a lot of progress.
And the gym, you were telling me off earlier, you're now open 3 years, so you have made huge steps in those 3 years, I'm sure.
Yeah, big time. It's funny, I was saying to Connor downstairs in the coffee shop, if that we're opening 3 years this September, and if someone said to us 3 years ago then that you'd be expanding in 3 years time, you'd have been buzzing about it, so it's been going well. It's took off the last year or two, so hopefully bigger things to come.
And there's a big wall here, we can't see it on camera, but you had mentioned the expansion that's going on here, so that's the next job then, is to get that all kitted out.
That's the next step. Lucky enough the unit came available next door a couple of months ago, so this will be a weight room, and then there will be more of like a cardio conditioning room, so it should be done now in the next couple of weeks, so it's very exciting. So hopefully we'll have bigger room for teams and more classes to be allowed in, so a lot of exciting stuff over the next couple of months.
And you're running a summer camp too at the end of the month. I think Rory Grugan and Barry McCambridge, is it, that's involved?
Yeah, so there's one down in Portmore here, my club, so we've got Grugan and Barry coming down, and there's we're going to get a ladies footballer down as well, so there's a lot of we did the camp a couple of weeks ago, we've got that one coming up, and we've maybe 35, 40, 37 I think so far, so hopefully the numbers will grow, because they're going to be exposed to high level coaching. If you're not going to listen to Rory Grugan or Barry McCambridge, then you're not listening to anyone, so it'll be exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
You have a lot to keep your mind off not playing then, you have a lot going on.
I do. I'm lucky enough that way that the gym's busy, because I actually don't like going down the training at times, because I love I've took the bike out of the gym and to the sideline so I could watch training, so you feel a part of it, but so I'll be back around now in maybe a month or so, and that I'll be more part of the team and being able to be actually doing something on the field whenever they are, so that's given me a bit of something to look forward to and a goal to look towards when I'm a month away from a bit of pitch action,
And we're going to look forward to the group stages, obviously. I suppose the group stage, it's hard to get a grip. We're only judging form on league and stuff, but championship's a different ball game. It's the business end of the season.
100%. So it's really although it's hard to, but league form does matter, particularly the second part of the league after the break. So you'll find teams that are sort of had been going well towards the end of the league, they'll carry that form into the championship. That's the beauty of championship. You just don't know. Like you could predict a lot of these games, but I'm sure it won't end up the way we predict them. So there's a lot of exciting games in there.
Yeah, them games tend usually not to go to script, but there's going to be some massive games, and we're just going to go through it group by group, because obviously that's the easiest way to do it for our first preview show. Group 1's the cliched group of death, I suppose, Justin. It's Ballyhagan, Middletown, Redbone Hanlons and Lissummon, so you have Ballyhagan and Middletown there, who would be two of the big hitters in the championship.
100%. Middletown had a poor enough start to the league, but I would probably consider them, it's particularly I think that maybe 5 wins out of 7, I think, in the towards the end of the league. So if they had continued that form throughout the whole league, they wouldn't be in the second seed of that group. So I've played Middletown twice this year, and it was we won by a point and won by 2 points. So we're glad they're not in our group. Obviously Ballyhagan's going to be they were a point off us coming into the last game, so we've 1 win off them and they've 1 off us. Obviously, you don't need to talk too much about James McCormick and what he brings. you know, that man's nearly worth 10 points every single game, and then obviously Pete to add to that. So yeah, Ballyhagan will be glad to get them two boys out of America as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's the thing about the game this weekend. I suppose they're going to O'Hanlon's on Friday night, and that game's going to be live on Armagh TV. But they're going without James McCormack and Peter McGrain, who, as you mentioned, they're still in America. So we're guessing now that they're not going to be home, or we're assuming they're not going to be home for it. So O'Hanlon's, they'll maybe fancy their chances of causing an upset.
Yeah, of course. They've that young lad McNulty. He seems to do a lot of scoring for them. I think he was the captain of the minors, was it 1 or 2 years ago. Seen him a good few times. He's serious ability, and he's very, very direct. I've seen on social media through their page that every time a video comes up, it's him scoring a goal. So him and your boy Canavan in the middle of the field seems to be doing a lot of damage. So look, obviously you're going to be expecting Ballyhagan to win that game, but O'Hanlon's will definitely make a good game of it.
I think that group is so good because it's difficult to. You know, Ballyhagan's going to be the favourites to emerge, but without James McCormack and Peter McGrain for a couple of the games, maybe it's just so hard to call. You know, for definite who's going to come out of that group and who's going to crash out of the championship.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, but Ballyhagan's sort of form had struggled slightly without McCormack, but you know, when you've got a top forward you're going to be reliant on him, and obviously it's his first time probably been away from the squad, so they're probably taking a while to adapt, but that's not a fair judgment of what Ballyhagan are as a team. When they have McCormack, they're obviously going to be a massive team, and they are going to have him, and I think that they're probably a wee bit lucky that Middletown's the last game of the group, which will give them a wee bit more time to come back, because as I said, you want to be at full strength going up against the Middletown team, you know.
And Middletown, I suppose, they're constantly with the dual aspect. Just they have hurling championship games on a Tuesday night and then the football at the weekend. So they're probably used to it at this stage, but it is just something worth discussing every year, it seems, because while teams are maybe having a light training session on a Tuesday, they're in a full throttle hurling championship game, so it can be difficult for them.
Yeah, of course, and no matter how much you're used to that, it will take a toll on his body, and it really depends on you know which sport they favour the most. If they've a hurling game on the Friday and a game on the Sunday or whatever, it'll be interesting to see. But they'll be hoping for no double fixtures in the same weekend, because if they can get the hurlers out, it does make a massive difference to their team and adds serious strength. I know them boys they're very physical and very fit. I seen them last year against Blackwater in the semi-final, and they give a serious game to Blackwater and went to extra time. So if they can get them boys playing, it makes them a real chance of going far in this competition.
On Group 2 then, we have Crossmaglen seconds, we have Thomas Davis, Clevey seconds and Mullabrack, and I know we were just talking off Justin about the groups and the different players from the groups, and I suppose when we're talking about Crossmaglen seconds we'll have to talk about Johnny Murta, and I know he's a friend of the podcast and a friend of Armagh TV, so we won't mind us talking about him, but he's a massive addition for the seconds team. I think they crashed out of the intermediate championship at the group stages last year, and I think he ended the season still as the third top scorer in round the top three. So he's a massive addition for Crossmaglen this year.
100%. Talk about age is just a number. He's I was telling you before, he scored 11 points against us down here and pushed us to 3 or 4 points. And then up there, same thing. Like he's when you've got that ability with his accuracy, he's going to shoot most times he gets the ball. A couple of our lads actually marked him and said his movement's unreal. So yeah, look, there's no point dressing it up if you're marking or you're playing Crossmaglen. If you limit Johnny Murta's influence, you're obviously going to have a really good chance. But limiting it and actually doing it's obviously two different things. So. And then there's your Bernard Cassidy. He's their 11. He plays a lot of their ball in. So same thing. If you can sort of stop the supply, then it greaters your chance of beating them. You know.
It probably a lot of the teams we're going to talk about. Maybe 1 or 2 star forwards, and it's for other teams. With the new rules, you can't flood 14 men behind the ball now. So there is going to be more man on man. There's going to be more space, and the likes of Johnny, James McCormack, and these top forwards that are playing junior football. You're imagining that their scoring rate is going to go up this year because of the new rules?
Yeah. So like if you've got the 2 point in your locker, which most of the good forwards in this division will, you know, if you get 5 points and 3 of them's 2 pointers, you know, you finish with 8 points. You know, that can harm any team. And and I know Johnny Murda and James McConaughey, as you mentioned there, that I've known from experience that they've harmed us with 2-pointers. So it's then if you're going to have to push out on them, and then that leaves gaps in behind. So it makes it exciting. But it's, as I said, it's stopping them ways is a different ball game.
Across they take on Clevie seconds this weekend, and I suppose a bit like yourselves with Portmore heading into the championship. Just the Clevie are coming in having won the league, so you're imagining they won Division 3B. You're imagining that they have confidence, they have belief, and they're going to give this group stage a bit of a rattle.
Yeah, definitely. Like winning's a habit, and also losing's a habit as well. But like they've got into the habit of, I think they've 10 wins out of 12 in that division. I think I'm right on that. So look, like they're used to winning. They're going to be coming in here with big confidence. They've a couple of lads. I think it was said at the start of the year, if you're going to America, then you'll not be featuring with the seniors. So there's a couple of boys there that will be coming back into them too, which will strengthen them. Like they didn't have them for half the season, and they still won that 3B, which was tricky. Especially that's their first time. So they've obviously a big push here now to go on. So look, they're another team that you can't be taking lightly.
Yeah, and we also have in that group Thomas Davis. They're taking on Mullabrack this weekend as well. Moving on to Group 3 then, and we have yourselves, Portmore, Oaks, St Michael's, Newtown and Darcy. And we don't have to spend too long talking about Portmore. Just from experience, it's hard talking about your own club on these podcasts. But I suppose just having won the league, a brilliant achievement, and no matter what happens over the next weeks and months, Portmore is going to be playing intermediate football next year. Yeah,
100%. We said at the start of the year that there's two parts to this season. There's the league and championship. So the goal was obviously you take Forkhill for example last year. There's no guarantees of winning championships, but they put the head down in the league, and look where they are now. They've obviously put the head down in the league this year as well. Now they're sitting in 2A next year. So I'm glad we've got that and secured intermediate football next year. It takes a lot of pressure off. And then you've got a free swing in the championship here now and sort of see what happens. But I'm glad if I don't get back at the end of this year, that I'll be coming back to playing 2B next year. So yeah,
I think that's coming into the championship. It's nearly, when you win the league and you've already guaranteed promotion, the pressure's nearly off Portmore now, because obviously they went so close last year. A replay against College Lawn, extra time against College Lawn, losing by a point. Like they were so close to winning the championship last year, but now they can go in with the comfort of knowing no matter what happens, they're playing intermediate next year. So the pressure's maybe off a wee bit.
Yeah, it is not going to work both ways. With taking the momentum in from winning, but then it can weaken you in the sense that you can take the championship lightly. Of course, there's no dressing up. We want to go and try do the double. So the last couple of weeks has just been some hard training just to sort of bring the boys back down to level. We had a couple of days there where the lads went and had a few beers to celebrate. Obviously, because you have to celebrate these things. People would say it's just a league, but for us it was getting intermediate football. So we've had a couple of weeks hard training there now, so hopefully we're set up well now to go into this second end of the season.
And they take on St Michael's Newtown. This game's going to be live on Armagh TV as well, and it's up in Newtown. Just then, I suppose with the group stages, we do have these home and away fixtures, and these first round away days they're tricky, and I'm sure Portmore's thinking not going to Newtown. It's a tough place to go this weekend.
Yeah, 100%. And you look at their management team. You've Dennis, who's with the Armagh seniors, and then Barra, who's with the minors. So they're going to be well coached. Blackwater played them last year. And it wasn't, you can say if it's in Newtown it's going to be in their favour. It was actually a neutral venue, which wouldn't have favoured either team, and they pushed Blackwater to 5 or 6 points, I think. And Blackwater only pulled away again. So look, no, we will not be taking Newtown lightly. We know what we're going into. I know they're a hard hitting team, and they're hard to stop when they get going. So we'll not be taking Newtown lightly at the weekend. You can't take any of these games lightly, because then you find yourself in a tricky situation in a few weeks in a playoff or whatever. So every game you have to take like it's a championship final nearly. And
Rogue and Darcy coming up in this group as well. And I suppose it's the same in every group. Every team wants to get over the line in the first game, Justin, because if you lose your first game, you're scrambling then trying to get points enough to obviously the top three go through, but you don't want to finish bottom of the group. So Rogue and Darcy's going to be thinking that this weekend, that if they can get over the line, get a win, and it'll set them up for the coming rounds.
Yeah, 100%. And the first game is what you want to be targeting, because it's not that it takes pressure off, but it builds confidence then for the next 2 games. You know, you're like, we've yourselves and someone else in the group will win each, and you'll be saying, you know, why can't we go and win this now? So both them teams will be targeting to win. You know, you're going to expect Rogue to come out in that one, but it'll be interesting. As I say, you just don't know with these. But yeah, very, very important first game. You know, that's why we're, as I say, getting into this game and treating it like, you know, any other top 3A team. Yeah,
it has to be. It's championship now, so I think everybody has to go full throttle at these games. Group 4 then, finally, before we finish, we have Clonmore coming in as the top of 3A seed. Then you have St Peter's seconds with Clady and with Kieran. So I suppose Clonmore's jumping out of that group Justin straight away. They'd fancy their chances. They're going to be favourites to come out of that group.
Yeah, 100%. They're, if you actually look at the league in the second part of it, they're the most informed team probably in the league so far in this championship. They've I think they haven't been beat since their 6th game. So the last 8 games they've either drew or won all of them. So yeah, like they'll seem to be picking at the right time. So they're obviously a big team you need to look out for. We've played them at the start of the season when they were probably sort of just coming to grips with and trying to get a bit of momentum together, and we beat them down here, and then we went up over to Clonmore and they beat us by 7 points and give us it was a 7-point hammering. So Clonmore's a serious team to watch. Quality all over the field. Brandy's back there to you don't need to speak too much about Brandy Donaghy. You know what he's going to bring to any team. Sean Quigley's massive for them, coming from deep. Cal Cunningham, Kieran Donaghy in the middle, like they've quality all over the field. So Clonmore's a big team to watch this championship.
You mentioned Brandy Donaghy, obviously him and James Grimley, they're player managers, so I'm not sure. I'd be interested to go to some of these games to see how that dynamic works, but Brandy Donaghy is he's going to be a boost for any team. I think he's playing around the middle of the field possibly. So.
He was playing for us, against us in around 6 and sort of dropping back slightly. I think that's sort of the role he knows so well with Armagh, so you know, bringing that to any club, especially at junior level, is going to be huge. Like, and he was I didn't like to see him come and dropping in front of where I was when we played them. So yeah, he's going to make it tricky for any forwards or any attacking teams in this championship. Like.
And Clonmore are away to Clady on Saturday evening again. That's going to be on Armagh TV. And I suppose Clady, it's a tricky place to go to, Justin. And I know Liam Doyle does most of their scoring. So I suppose when Clonmore's preparing for this, again, we're talking about singling out forwards, but they're going to try to put the clampers on Liam Doyle, and that'll keep Clady's score down if he has a bad game.
Yeah, 100%. Like same as cross seconds, you know, every team has a main man, and Doyle seems to be the main man for them. I've seen in a lot of the league reports this year that he does a lot of the damage, and then Sean Savage, a couple of games he's come up with a couple of goals, so I'd imagine him and Donaghy around the middle will go up against the shot, so that'll maybe cancel each other out. So look, you'd imagine Clonmore will win this, but Clady, I'd imagine, won't be planning on just handing the result to them.
And St Peter's seconds against Killian then. And St Peter's, we were talking about yourselves and Clevey seconds, the momentum you get from winning the league, but I suppose St Peter's, they were relegated, but it's their second season as a junior club, so I suppose they're still finding their feet, Justin, and Killian as well, only newly reformed. So both teams, just to get a win in the championship, get up and running, like it's going to be huge for whoever comes out on top of that.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny actually, St Peter's had probably the worst form throughout the league, but then I think the last 3 games they've played, they've 2 wins and a loss. So like they've found a bit of momentum at the right time. Like they beat Crenchigo, who were also bottom of the league, and then they went and beat Ballaghagan there. So look, like the confidence they're going to take from beating the team who was second in the league is going to be massive. So and we played them like the 2 games we played them, we were just very good and we were on it from the start. And sort of put the game to bed in the first half, but like they're a tricky enough team, St Peter's. So look, they'll be looking to get out of that group, and they'll make it tricky for anyone coming into a playoff, like, you know.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of tight games, a lot of tight calls here, and we usually finish with predictions, Justin. But because you're still involved, I'll not ask you who you think is going to win the junior championship, and I think I'll hold mine for a wee while till we get seeing the teams in action. So thanks everybody for joining us. That's our first championship coverage of the year. We're beginning now. We'll be there with previews. We have interviews coming up this week with a few of the club captains and stuff, so keep an eye out on all our social media channels on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and everything else, and make sure to check out the Sideline Eye website for everything club orientated in Armagh as well. And Justy, you have your big TikTok following as well, so do you want to give a shout out to your TikTok page?
My own Instagram's at Coach Justin Kieran, so you'll find me there. You'll hear me talking a bit of nonsense and all things GAA. So they're on my own the gym page, Everyday Performance.
So we have lots more coverage coming up. Make sure to follow us on all our social media channels and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, on our Spotify or wherever you get your podcast. So thanks to Justin for coming on board and doing this podcast, and thanks to our sponsors as well. Couldn't do this without them. So thanks to everybody for being involved, and keep an eye out on all our channels for everything coming up.
As a player of the Armagh GAA senior hurling team, I'm excited to share with you that you could win this house in Newry worth £200,000 for only £20, and you'll be supporting the future of Armagh GAA in the process. Just click the link below to get your ticket now.